As I shared in my sermon this past Sunday about having the mind of Christ, that phrase, that theme appears in every single chapter in Paul's letter to the Philippians. And it's our focus today from chapter 2, verse 2, where Paul says, "Make my joy complete. Be of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind." You might say, boy, that sounds a little repetitive, because it is, because Paul is really emphasizing and striving to get the church to understand how important it is for you and for me and for all of us to have the same mind. And that same mind is the humble mind of Christ, the mind that is self-sacrificing, that looks to the interests of other people. And so he says, be of the same love, of full accord, of one mind. And being of one mind or of the same mind, as I said on Sunday, it doesn't necessarily mean that we agree on everything. It's more about the attitude and the approach that we take in life, which is to be like that of Christ. And Christ humbled himself. He became obedient. He took on human form. This whole wonderful hymn that we have in Philippians chapter 2, which is probably one of the earliest hymns that we have, one of the earliest liturgical pieces we have from the early church. It's all about descending into greatness and to serving others. And that's the mind of Christ that Paul wants you to have, wants me to have, that we are humble, we serve one another in love, we put others' needs ahead of our own. And that's what he goes on to say repeatedly. Humility is a theme that we find throughout the Bible. If you've been journeying all the way through with us, you know that as far back as the book of Proverbs, that there are many verses about how the proud, pride comes before a fall, right? And one of the things that's condemned throughout the book of Proverbs is being haughty or arrogant. If you ask people who are in leadership, in business and all, one of the things that derails the careers of most leaders, what has the biggest impact in bringing people down? It's usually pride and arrogance. When was the last time you heard a story about a major figure whose life was undone or whose leadership was undermined because they were too humble? I think we're all waiting to hear that story because I don't think it's happened yet. So as Christians, we're called to humility because God is with the humble and not with the proud, as the Lord told the prophet Isaiah. So as Christians, we don't seek to climb a ladder of success or self-importance. We descend into greatness as servants, having the mind and the love of Christ.